So how to beat the stock market investment just one day a week. Now ask yourself this: how many of you think I'm completely full of it right now saying something like that? Okay, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that think that way. However, just think about how you feel right now, because when I prove to you that it can happen, I want you to tell me exactly how awesome it's going to feel. Okay, here we go. What you're going to discover on this presentation: you're going to learn two things here that you're going to be able to start utilizing immediately to make you money. Okay, the first thing you're going to discover are the best months of the year to invest. The second thing you're going to discover are the best days of the week to invest. Guys, that's it. That's really the simplicity behind it. This is a short presentation by design. I take all the hype, all the fluff completely out of it. This is an instructional training, okay? It's pure value, and it's kind of how simple the system is. We're not going to talk about Fibonacci. We're not going to talk about charts. We're not going to talk about what the Fed is up to or who the CEO is or tweets from a government official. We're not going to talk about any of that, because from what I'm teaching you here today, you're not going to need to know any of that, okay? So my big promise to you on this presentation: well, first of all, look, you're going to have a blast. This is going to be fun. I love doing this. I absolutely love doing this. I've been doing this for a long time. I love teaching people these things. Okay, it's awesome. Sometimes I might get carried away, but you're going to have a blast. Okay, now if you're new to investing, I promise not only will you feel the stock market is way simpler than you thought, but you'll be able to start making profits from this training immediately. Sound pretty good? Now, if you're not new to investing, and I know there's a lot of people on the call that are not new to investing, I promise you'll be able to add these setups to your trading arsenal of ideas. Nice and easy. So the reality is, guys, why is this important? Okay, why is this important? Well, why do you care? Well, the truth is, guys, all you need is one idea, okay? One solid idea that could change your financial future. Because the reality is, and I always like to say this, you're just one trade away from financial freedom. And I hope you get that with me today. So my goal here for this presentation, okay, today's training, it's worth at least $5,000 of value to you, okay? And these are some of the exact same strategies and methods that I use, that I share with my clients and students. And look, they work, hands down. So there's no doubt in my mind that you will get that kind of value if you commit with me for the next 45 minutes. Okay, so my ask is that you treat this presentation as if you paid $5,000 to learn it. And what I mean by that is, look, you can't be half interested. I know you've been on the call for a couple hours. I know there's Facebook, there's Twitter. There are many ways to get distracted, okay? Don't do that. If you want to get that $5,000 of value out of this training, you need to commit with me right here, right now. Now, I want to be fully transparent. I don't want anyone to have any anxiety about what's going to happen at the end of this training. We do have a community that I will extend an exclusive invitation to you. It's called Market Hero, for being here with me today. But you should know, if you decide to join and come on board from this training, there's a ton of incentives that I want to go over really, really quickly, because I know a couple people are asking me about it already. So what you're going to get my core training, everything you need to make money and save time doing so in the stock market. So that's a big thing with Market Hero. It's also a very, very big thing with this presentation. Okay, you're also going to get lifetime access to our private Facebook mastermind group and weekly webinar trainings. Now, on my website right now, okay, Market Hero retails for $5,000. But because you're here with me today, I'm going to give you a ton of bonuses, a ton of goodies, and a heavy, 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 heavy discount. Now, look, the decision is completely up to you at the end, but I wanted to be 100% transparent so you could focus on the training and not worry about what comes next. And I promise that if you pay attention, you're going to get that $5,000 of value out of that training. Sound fair? Good. All right, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am. You're going to hear from a few of my clients and students and what they did to crush it in the market, and everything they did to be able to crush it in the market, you can too. Now, our most successful trainees have been our most active trainees. So I ask you to ask as many questions as come up throughout the actual training, okay? I want you to walk away understanding these two methods and being able to utilize them immediately. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna pause a few times during the actual training so that I can make sure when we're done with each of the strategies, everyone has an understanding of how to do it, when to get in and when to get out. And then if we do have any more questions at the end of the training, we'll do a little bit of Q&A if there's time. Sound fair? All right, sweet. All right, a brief introduction about myself. Yes, I am a former professional baseball player in the Kansas City Royals organization. I've made over $1.2 million of profits in the stock markets. I am an investing coach with clients all over the world who currently have a combined $11 million under management. So it's not with financial advisors or brokers, it's with individuals like you and I. And together, all of the value of our accounts equals $11 million. I'm also a traveler, a sports fanatic, and a foodie. Now, before we jump right in, obviously, guys, my results are pretty good. They're not typical. This is not a get-rich-quick type of thing. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, wait, that's kind of bogus. You've made over $1 million in the stock market, so that can't be. But when I say it's not get-rich-quick, I really mean it's not effortless earnings, okay? You will have to pay attention in this training, and you will have to put in the work, okay? But you'll get a lot better results than you could probably ever have imagined in a much, much shorter amount of time, okay? Again, I'll walk you through some of the methods that we're using to get these great results. But again, please understand that my results are not typical. All right, good. All the pleasantries are out of the way. Let's jump right in. Setup number one, and I call this setup a quarterly setup. So what I mean by setup is, and you're going to hear this a few times in the training, a setup is trades or methods in the stock market broken down to very, very, very simple methods. So for example, imagine you're sitting in your car and it's a red light. You're not going anywhere, but all of a sudden the light turns green. That is the setup. And then what do you do when that setup reveals itself to you or the light turns green? You drive through the intersection. So we break it down to simple ideas and concepts like that. So the first setup we're going to talk about is the quarterly setup. So at the beginning of December, I did a presentation, and this young man by the name of Matt, give me a 7 in the chat if you think Matt could have sent me a much better photo than the one he sent me, because I'm going to add a 7 in there because he could have did a much better job than the one he sent me. But anyway, Matt came to me at the beginning of December. He had just graduated college and with about $50,000 of student debt. Now, Matt wanted to get into the stock market for 2 reasons. Number 1, to get rid of all of his debt, and number 2, to actually achieve financial freedom at some point. Now, again, Matt came to me at the beginning of December with no portfolio, no investing experience whatsoever. Zero. Literally zero. We taught him this quarterly setup in one of our trainings, and he said, you know what, that's something I can do. He went out there at the beginning of 2018 and he executed this quarterly setup the right way, okay? And when I reached out to him recently, he said this: now I am more than doubling the returns of the market this year. I bought once and I sold once. That's it. It can't be that easy, can it? How many of you would love to double the returns of the market by buying once and selling once? Give me a 2 in the chat if you would love to double the returns of the market this year by buying once and selling once. Give me a 2 in the chat. There we go. I see a lot of 2s. So when he said that, I said, wow, that's amazing. That's great. Let me dig in and see actually how he did. Maybe he did a little bit worse than a double, or maybe he did better than a double. And it turned out Matt is beating the market by 671% in 2018 alone. That's right. This is someone who came to a training of mine at the beginning of December without an investment account, never made a trade, never made an investment, didn't even have a portfolio. And these are the returns that he's getting compared to the market in 2018. How many of you out there would love returns like this? Exactly. All right, you guys excited to learn this quarterly setup? Good. Okay, here we go. The quarterly setup. So when breaking down market returns, it turns out that there are months in every quarter that are more profitable than others, okay? Now, in order to locate this profitable setup, we must figure out what months they are. And the good news for you is we have. So when breaking down the profit and loss by months in every quarter in the overall stock market, we have found a winner. You ready for that winner? Okay, so what we're looking at here on the left side of the screen are stock market returns, or S&P 500 returns, from 1990 to the beginning of 2018. Now they're broken down in a certain way. What we can see here on the left side of the screen, 28 years of data. So this is not something that's curve fitted at all. The gray line, which is a little bit lower on this chart, represents the second and third month of every single quarter. Again, going back to 1990. Okay, so if we think about the first quarter of the year, Q1, The second and third months of that quarter would be February and March. Those are represented by the gray line. The orange line, which we could see significantly outperforms that gray line, is just the first month of every single quarter. Okay, so again, if we're breaking down that Q1, we're thinking about January. So look, it's clear to me, and I know it's clear to you, that since 1990, the first month of every single quarter, being January, April, July, and October, are far more profitable than the other 8. This is exactly what I taught Matt. So he said, yeah, I get that. Now tell me how to get in. Well, what you're going to go ahead and do is on the first trading day of those months, January, April, July, and October, we're going to log into any online brokerage account. Okay, we're going to log into any online brokerage account. We're going to type in these 3 letters, SPY, and we're going to click these big green buttons to buy that stock. That's how you get in. Okay, how do you get out? Well, the last trading day of those months, January, April, July, and October, we're going to log into our online brokerage account. We're going to type in those 3 letters, SPY. We're going to click those big red buttons to sell the stock we bought earlier in the month. Well, let me ask you a question. Okay, all you got to do is get in at the beginning of January, get out at the end of January, and the same thing for April, July, and October. And what would you do if you knew that? You would rinse and repeat that, right? You would set up quarterly reminders on your phone, on your calendar. You would add sticky notes to your computer. But ask yourself this, can you go out there too and do that quarterly setup? Okay, can you log into your account those months of the year? Can you type in those 3 letters? Can you buy and can you sell? Because if you could have done that from 1990 to the beginning of 2018, you would have gotten 3 times the returns in a third of the time because you're only invested in 4 out of the 12 months of the year. Okay. How many of you would have loved to have heard this presentation back in December when Matt did? You would have bought stocks at the beginning of January, sold them at the end, did absolutely nothing in February and March, and bought stocks at the beginning of April again. January was up 6%, February was down 3%, March was down 2.5%, and April's already up 2.5%. Absolutely. So you guys can see why Matt was able to outperform so far in 2018 by such a large amount. Okay. Now, that's not all. Okay. Because you could buy SPY, but there are a lot of other things that you could do as well. Okay. Could you involve some sort of future strategy to this? Yeah. Okay. How about options? Could you buy calls or sell puts or sell put spreads or buy call spreads? Could you utilize options, okay, to execute this? Yeah. Or how about covered stock? Can you do something like that to take advantage of knowing that the first month of every single quarter is 3 times more profitable than the second and third, going back to 1990 and again in 2018? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Next slide. All right. So that's kind of the end of the quarterly setup. I think this is a great spot to pause. And if we have any questions specifically on the quarterly setup, I'd love to be able to answer those now, just so I can make sure that everyone is getting all the information out of this and they're able to execute this the next time the opportunity presents itself. So if you have any questions about that quarterly setup, pop them in the chat now and I'll run through a few. So the first question, does this work in all market conditions? So what you saw on the previous slide, again, is going back 1990 to the beginning of 2018. So obviously in that time frame, we had kind of a sideways to up market until about 2000. Once 2000 hit, we saw a big correction. Then obviously we had a little bit of a run up into 2007. 2008 and 9 was a large correction, and then it's been pretty successful ever since the crash of 09. So this is over a very, very large sample size that this is an effective strategy. So it does stand the test of time in bull markets and bear markets. So to answer your question. Next question, what's your best options trade for this? So that's a good question. I don't think I have enough time to go through what the best options trade is for this specifically. However, you know the information now. You know the first month of every single quarter is 3x more profitable than the others. Now, knowing that, kind of the world is your oyster type of thing. There's a ton of methods that you can employ to take advantage of that information. Again, you could buy stock. You can get involved in futures. You can get involved in options. There are a lot of things that you can do in order to take advantage of that information. Good question, though. Cool. Yeah, this definitely would have worked in 2018. Yeah, I mean, totally. Again, January was up, February and March were down, April's up so far. So yeah, again, not only has it worked from 1990 to the beginning of 2018, but this is something that also is working very, very effectively in the first 4 months of 2018. So good question. Yeah, totally. All right, I'll hang around for a second here if anyone has any more questions before we move on, just so I can make sure everyone gets all of their questions answered. Cool. All right. So we talked about the quarterly setup. Now we're getting into the baby maker. We're getting into the beat the market, investing just 1 day a week. And I call this the weekly setup. And what's cool about the weekly setup is it really, really works, especially for people that don't have much experience in the stock market. So here is a friend of mine. His name is Bob. Now, I met Bob years ago through a ex-baseball players network. You can see he's a Cubs fan here. And Bob really wanted to get into the market to kind of supplement his income. That's why he wanted to get in the market. And he wanted to invest, but he didn't know if he had the time to do it. You know, he thought investing really required you to know about charts, about Fibonacci, reading Barron's on the weekend or the Wall Street Journal. He thought there was so much that kind of went into it. And I said, look, let's chat. Let's do a session. And if you think it's good, we'll continue to do sessions. And if not, no big deal. So we met for the first time, and I showed him this weekly setup as well as setting up his first account and funding it. At the end, he said, yeah, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. That's definitely something that I could go ahead and do. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And let's definitely book a couple sessions for the next few months. So we booked some sessions, and I never heard from Bob ever again. I was distraught because that weekly setup was working for me. It was working for my other students, and I had so much more where that came from. The weekly setup's great, but I had plenty more where that came from. And then finally, I got an email from Bob like a year later, and he said, hey, you know, thanks for teaching me that weekly setup. I feel really bad. I disrespected you. I didn't get back to you. But the reality was I didn't really need your help anymore. Okay, because I made 41% investing in the last year just using the weekly setup. How many of you out there, give me a 3 in the chat if you would love to know the 1 day a week that allowed Bob, who didn't even have an investment account, to make 41% in his first year investing alone. Give me a 3 in the chat if you'd like to know this method. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Sweet. I love when I say give me 3 in the chat and people type in like 10 threes or the word 3. I think that's hilarious. That's awesome. All right, cool. All right, let's jump right in because you guys want to learn this. So when breaking down stock market returns, it turns out that there are days of the week that are consistently profitable and also beat the market, okay? So in order to locate this profitable setup, we must figure out what days they are. And again, the good news for you is we have. So when breaking down the profit and loss by day in the overall stock market, we have found a winner. Here we go. So we're looking at, in the left-hand side of the screen right now, our S&P 500 returns from 2000 to the beginning of 2018. So you can see here we have the black line, which has represented the entire S&P 500. The red line is Tuesday, the blue line is Thursday, the green line is Wednesday, the gray line is Monday, and the gold line is Friday. You know, guys, I got to tell you, I do this method every single week, and I teach this all the time. I wish there was a camera on me because I am getting goosebumps right now teaching you this. That's how excited I am for this. I'm literally getting goosebumps because I know this is going to change a lot of people. Now, it's clear to me, and I know it's clear to you, that since 2000, so we're looking at almost 20 years of data, that investing on Tuesday only, just Tuesday, not Monday, not Wednesday, not Thursday or Friday, just Tuesday, would have resulted in an investor beating the overall market. How many of you would love to beat the market over the next year? Exactly. Okay, so now you know this information. You know the information. Well, let's show you how to take advantage of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is before the market closes, and the market closes at 4 p.m. Eastern time on 4 p.m. Eastern time. Before the market closes on Monday, we're going to log into our account. We're going to type in these 3 letters, SPY, and we're going to click the big green button to buy as many shares of SPY as we want. Okay, that's how you get in. Now, how do you get out? Well, again, at the end of the day on Tuesday, we're going to log into our account. We're going to type in these three letters, SPY, and we're going to click those big red buttons to sell all the shares that we bought earlier on in the week. Earlier on the day before. Buy at the end of the day on Monday. Sell at the end of the day on Tuesday. And obviously, because it's worked from 2000 to present, we're going to repeat that, right? So we're going to set up weekly reminders on our phone, set up weekly reminders on our calendar. Okay, we're going to add sticky notes to our computer. But let me ask you a question. Beginner or pro? Okay, can you do the weekly setup? Can you log onto your account at the end of the day on Monday? Can you type in those three letters? Can you buy? And then at the end of the day on Tuesday, can you sell? Okay, because if you had done that since 2000, you would have beaten the overall stock market. Everyone who's on the call right now, give me a 0 in the chat that if I gave you this information yesterday, that if I did this presentation yesterday, give me a 0 in the chat if you would currently be profitable on the weekly setup right here, right now. Give me a 0 in the chat. If I told you this yesterday, would you be making money from this setup right here, right now? Yeah, I see a lot of zeros. Good. Exactly. Right now, the S&Ps are up, what, 20, 30? 20 points, 30 points. Again, everyone who would have bought at the end of the day on yesterday would currently be up 20 or 30 S&P points. Exactly. Now, a lot of people were asking a lot of good questions about that quarterly setup as well as right now. And they're asking, what about in a bear market? Well, as we can see here, when the S&P sold off pretty big in 08 and 09, that red line Tuesday did really well. And it's kind of interesting when we look at some of the sell-offs in 2018 and how this strategy did. Okay, if you remember at the beginning of February, stocks plunge as market enters correction territory. Okay, Dow plunges 1,175 points, worst point decline in history. Okay, in fact, that week the market was down 5.16%. But when you know, Tuesday of that week was up 1.74%. Okay, or how about a couple weeks ago in March? The market lost 6% that week. But Tuesday was the only green day of that week. How cool is that, guys? Okay, but that's not all. Okay, just like with that quarterly setup, now we know the information. Okay, we know that from 2000 to the beginning of 2018 and still in 2018, okay, Tuesday alone beats all the other days combined. Okay, beats all 5 days combined, beats the overall stock market. Okay, so it turns out Tuesday looks good, check. Okay, Thursday looks pretty good. It doesn't beat the overall market, but it does look positive. Okay, Wednesday doesn't break the bank, and we all kind of see this, that goal line. Friday kind of stinks. So could we expand on it a little bit? Well, Tuesday beat the market by 18%. Okay, investing 1 day a week to beat the market. Beat the market by 18% in just 20% of the time. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Okay, but what if we combine Tuesday with Wednesday and Thursday all the way back to 2000? Well, we would have beaten the market by 89%. Seems pretty good, right? Cool. All right, so if you guys have any questions specifically about that weekly setup right now, now would be a good time to pop it into the chat just so I can answer some questions before moving on. All right, let's see. How many stocks or markets do you have the dependable trades for, or is this the best of the lot? I'm not sure what that question is. We have the data from the S&P 500 because it's the least expensive data for me to buy from the New York Stock Exchange. However, there are stocks that this is a little bit better for, and there are stocks that this is a little bit worse for. There are indexes, for example, or ETFs, equity index ETFs, that are a little bit better in terms of their performance when compared to SPY, and there are some that are a little bit less. So that's I don't know if that answers your question. If that didn't answer your question, then pop another question in the chat. Fridays are the most bearish day, right? Correct. So in a bear market, could we reliably short the market on Fridays? Your thoughts? So again, from 2000 to beginning of 2018, and again in 2018, so to present, Friday specifically, consistently across the board was not a day that saw consistent positive returns. So again, you know that information that Friday was negative. I don't think it would be a bad play to say in a bear market, sell Friday. I don't think that would be a terrible play. That's not something that I do, though. For the person that asked that question, that's not something that I do, though. Even though I dig the fact that now you see the data and you're digging in. So I like that. So someone asked, SPY is good. How about the Qs? Are those better? So again, the data that we're giving you is on the S&P 500. And the only reason it's the S&P 500 is because that's the data that I bought from the New York Stock Exchange. Obviously, IWM, the Russell 2000, or the Diamonds, the Dow, or the Qs, the NASDAQ ETF, obviously those move pretty similar to SPY. So I don't have specific 100% accurate data on those other ETFs like I do with SPY. However, as most of us know, those trade pretty hand in hand. But that's a good question. All right, I'll hang around for another couple seconds if anyone else has any questions about that weekly setup. But again, like I said, if we were on this presentation together, you and I yesterday at this time, okay, and you saw the weekly setup, would you be making money on it today? And the answer is yes, for sure. Do you ever trade multiple shares and scale out through the week? No, I do not do that. Again, the data shows what it shows. If you bought at the end of the day yesterday and you were going to sell at the close today, you would probably be a winner unless something happens. I think right now the S&Ps are up like 25 or 30 points. I don't really try to get too fancy with it. Again, it's very simple. It takes me 30 seconds a week. You can automate stuff like this. We show you how to automate this in our in-market hero, like I mentioned. So this really, I don't really need to get too fancy with this. So last question here before I move on, and then if we have any other questions, I'll answer them at the end. Please discuss how you process to find this type of data. So I have a team. I have a team of data scientists that data mine for me. So I go and buy data directly from the New York Stock Exchange. So it's 100% accurate. I go buy it directly from them, and then we kind of go off on a whim. So right now, my data team is doing a pretty large study on what happens on a week where there's a monthly expiration in SPY. So we just kind of go off and try all these things. And because of that, we've kind of came up with a few dozen that are very, very similar to this that are backed by a lot of data. All right, cool. So I'm going to move on here real quick. And again, if you do have any more questions, hopefully there'll be a little bit of time at the end. And if not, I'll pop in my email address so you guys can ask me stuff. So let's recap where we are at this point. And again, since 1990 to the beginning of 2018, and again, very strongly in 2018, we learned that the first month of every single quarter was 3 times more profitable than the second and third months combined. Okay, so obviously we want to get long exposure that first month of every single quarter. And again, in 2018, this was a wonderful strategy. Okay, we also learned that weekly setup. Okay, that setup that allowed my friend Bob, who wanted to learn how to supplement his income, make 41% on his money his first year alone, just investing 1 day a week. Okay, and the way you do that is we get long SPY, or for other people, I see their kind of wheels are turning right here. You get long SPY Monday before the market closes and hold to the end of the day on Tuesday. And again, if we had talked about this yesterday, you'd be up pretty big on this today. Okay, so at the beginning of this training, I promise you that you would learn new ideas that would start making you money immediately, whether you're a beginner or a pro. So I'd like to ask you, was our time together valuable? Okay, did you enjoy the training? Do you understand now how I am able to do what I do in the stock market? And some of my students are able to get big time results. Okay, can you see how these setups will allow you to profit immediately, whether you are a beginner or a pro? Yeah, absolutely. And do you see how little time and knowledge is really needed to invest? Remember, we didn't talk about Fibonacci or trend lines or making our charts look like a Jackson Pollock. We didn't talk about any of that. And we showed you 2 methods that outperform the market that won't take you any more than a few minutes a week or a month. okay? And the truth is, guys, look, I have complete confidence in you, okay? I have complete confidence in you. And of course, you're going to go out there. You're going to go out there and utilize the quarterly setup and that weekly setup and make money from it, okay? And I know these methods work because, again, they're backed by decades and decades of data. But of course, this was only, what, 30 minutes that we spent together. And while we did learn these two very profitable setups, there's only so much we can go over, right? So this was only spending 30 minutes together. Imagine spending more time together, okay? How much more valuable that would be to you, okay? So in the beginning, I also promised you an opportunity to join me in taking your next steps together by joining our Market Hero community, which is designed to give you the exact step-by-step formula for crushing it in the market and achieving mountains and mountains of success. Because look, the quarterly setup was a big winner in 2018 also. The weekly setup, again, if you did it yesterday, if we talked about this yesterday, you'd be up money big today, okay? But the reality is the quarterly and the weekly setups, guys, only the tip of the iceberg, okay? They're only the tip of the iceberg. And Market Hero is designed to get you results big and fast. So why wouldn't you consider something that would practically guarantee your success? Which is why it's my pleasure to extend an exclusive invitation to stock market dominance by becoming a Market Hero, okay? Now, over the next 5 minutes or so, I'm gonna go over into depth what Market Hero is. And look, if you think it's right for you, I want you to get it, okay? And if you don't, I don't want you to get it, plain and simple. Does that sound fair? Cool. All right, so if you want to achieve true financial freedom, okay, or supplement your income, and follow a proven, modular, step-by-step framework that will leave no guesswork, then Market Hero is specifically for you, okay? So here's what's finally going to work for you. So what you're gonna get with Market Hero are my profit-crushing setups. It's a $5,196 value. And let me talk about two of them really, really quickly. Setup number 3 is profitable 91% of the time for an average of 10.75% ROI, and this is a once a month trade. That's right, you just show up once a month for an average of 10% ROI. Okay, worked out pretty well for one of my students. His name is TC. And the last time we did this, he made $1,700 one trade overnight. That's 52% ROI overnight. Give me a 99 in the chat if you would love 52% ROI overnight on a trade. Yeah. Exactly. How about setup number 14? The 8 days of the year responsible for 36% of all market gains, and you profit in less than 24 hours. And what's really cool is the last time we did this, you can ask my buddy John, he made 42% ROI overnight just in that one trade. And again, as you can see, these are email notifications that he's getting from me about the trade. He's doing them, and then he's telling me how he's doing. Not bad. How many of you would love 42% ROI overnight? Yeah. And again, you get lifetime membership to Market Hero and updates. So I add new updates, I tinker with old ones all the time, and you'll get those too. Now, the really cool thing about these profit crushing setups, okay, is you're going to learn to make a lot of money with them, okay? But you're also going to be able to get rid of a lot of things, which are going to save you a lot of time and money. You're going to be able to get rid of your newsletters, your books, your financial advisors, your newspapers. Our average Market Hero saves $213 a month by getting rid of all this stuff that actually probably never did them any good. That sounds like pretty good savings now, doesn't it? Now, every single one of these profit crushing setups works in every single type of account. We have a version or a method in Market Hero for every single type of account: cash accounts, retirement accounts, margin accounts, big accounts, small accounts. How awesome would it be to learn that once a month setup that averages 10% ROI, be able to get an email notification from me, go into your IRA and your margin account and execute both at the same time? How awesome would that be? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what you're gonna get with Market Hero: profit crushing setups designed to make you money. You're also gonna get my automation tools, okay, designed to save you time doing that. Automated trades, indicators, all that stuff. You're also gonna get my done for you tools and cheat sheets and my morning game plan. So every single morning, you're gonna get an email from me where I've run an algorithm every single night through our watch list of stocks. And what we do is we present to you that watch list with the exact setup based on our data, that would be the best for every single stock. So if you're interested in using Facebook on a given day, we'll tell you which of our 3 dozen plus setups to go ahead and utilize. If you're interested in trading Twitter on a day, we'll tell you the exact method that you should be following on Twitter that day. Again, guys, it's very, very, very done for you. So again, you get those profit crushing setups, you get the automation tools, you get the tools and cheat sheets, you get that morning game plan. But you know what, guys? That's not good enough for me, because I want to guarantee your success, okay? Because of that, I want you to be part of my live weekly webinar. So that's a $2,997 value. We actually have our next one tonight for all of our current market heroes, okay? We get online, and you guys ask me every single question that you have, and I don't get offline until everyone's questions are answered. And again, you have lifetime access to this. You'll also get me and my team 24/7 in our private Facebook mastermind group. That's also $2,997 value. If you have a question about a trade that you're thinking about entering and you're not sure what to do, pop it in the Facebook group, and I will literally get in your account with you to make sure that not only you're doing the right one, but you're doing it the right way. Okay? Total value market hero, $15,583. But look, like I told you at the beginning of training, this training would be worth $5,000 to you. And we prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt that that's true. Okay, but you guys also know that I'm not going to charge you $15,583 to get access to the training, to the software, to the tools, to the cheat sheets, to the Facebook groups. But I have a question for you right now. Okay, if I did charge you $15,583, would it be worth it? You know, if all it did was make you very profitable by doing trades just 8 days a year, would it be worth it? Yeah. If all it did was supplement your income by making a few extra $1,000 every month for the rest of your life in a semi-automated fashion, would it be worth it? Totally. Okay? If all it did was, by utilizing my daily reminders, allow you to never worry about your finances ever again and allow you to spend more time with your family and travel, would it be worth it? Yeah, absolutely. Because look, Market Hero, the total value of Market Hero, $15,583. But everything in Market Hero is the exact step-by-step blueprint that allowed me to make over $1.2 million in the stock market. So let me ask you this. How many of you, if you could, would write a check right now for $15,583 to learn the exact step-by-step blueprint for how I was able to do what you're looking at right here on the screen? Yeah, absolutely. Okay? It really kind of puts it in perspective now, doesn't it? Because Market Hero is not a cost, okay? It's an investment, okay? So you can see why it's a steal at $15,583, okay? But I told you also right now on my website, Market Hero costs $5,000, okay? But I also told you that because you're with me here today on this training, I'm going to give you a ton of bonuses and a heavy, heavy discount. So you can get started today, and today only, with Market Hero for just one payment, lifetime access to Market Hero for just $997. So if you want to go ahead and invest in yourself, in your family, in your future, in your children's future, and many generations to come, go ahead, go to stephenbrooks.co/trade and get started right now. Okay, but you should know you kind of get a really cool money back guarantee with it too. Okay, so it's a 2-part money back guarantee. So in the first 30 days, all I ask you to do is to learn and try 5 of our methods. Okay, and if they don't work out for you, just let me know, show me they didn't work out for you, and I will give you your money back, no questions asked. And if you do qualify, part 2 of our 30-day money back guarantee, if you do qualify, if those 5 setups don't work for you, not only will you get a good full refund, but you will also get $250 cash on top. That's how confident I am that when you invest in yourself and join Market Hero, that you will be a giant, giant success. Okay, pretty sweet. So again, what you're gonna get the profit crushing setups, the automation tools, the done for you tools and cheat sheets, the morning game plan. You're gonna be part of my live weekly webinars. And again, the next one's tonight, our private Facebook mastermind group. Total value Market Hero, $15,583. But let me put a little bit of icing on the cake for you for being here with me today. Okay, when you invest today only, you're also going to get my profit screaming notifications. Okay, that's a $10,000 value. When I'm going to do something, you're going to know. Okay, again, guys, this bonus alone is so handheld for you. This bonus alone is worth well over what your investment in Market Hero is today. Okay, you can't get any more done for you. okay? But that's not it. I want to make sure that when you invest in Market Hero, that you get set up the right way. Okay, so you're also going to get an hour-long power session with me that currently retails on my website for $997, which is the same price as the courses, and you get that totally free. So I'm gonna jumpstart your success by working with you for a full hour, making sure you are grasping everything, making sure you're doing the right thing. Okay, again, I am vested in your success, and I want to do this together. So when you invest in Market Hero today, go into stephenbrooks.co/trade, you will also get our hour-long power session, okay? So again, to get started today for just $997, guys, huge bonus. It's a $5,000 course on my website, $15,583 value. To get started, go to stephenbrooks.co/trade. And again, remember, it's backed by our full 30-day money-back guarantee. And if you qualify for that 30-day money-back guarantee, you also get $250 cash on top. Because again, I'm so confident. So many people have come through the doors of Market Hero and they've absolutely crushed it. And I know you're going to be that next one. Now, to sweeten the deal even more, if you live in the United States, we did a deal with PayPal Credit. So you'll go to stephenbrooks.co/trade and you'll see a button that says check out with PayPal. What that will do, if you live in the United States, will allow you to buy via PayPal Credit. So what that is PayPal will do a very quick credit score. It won't change your numbers at all. And if you qualify, which pretty much anyone with a pulse of a credit score qualifies in the United States, is they will give me the $997 investment today, and you don't have to pay anything for 6 months. Guys, it's so risk-free. If you use PayPal Credit, if you live in the United States, you don't pay anything for 6 months. And again, it's backed by that full 30-day money-back guarantee, guys. It's pretty sick. So it looks like we have 2 minutes here, maybe a minute for questions. I'll scan through real quick and just answer like the most pertinent one. But again, guys, you get that profit crushing setups. All of them just as simple as the ones we taught today, but make even more money. All of it's backed by that 30-day money back guarantee plus that $250 cash on top if you do qualify. Okay. Also, the weekly webinar trainings for life, the private Facebook mastermind group for life. And if you join today, you're also going to get my profit screaming notifications and my one-on-one consultation. All that, $15,583 of value, guys, for just $997 today. Go to stephenbrooks.co/trade and invest in yourselves. Look, the reality is, guys, and then I'll log off here. In life, in investing, in business, sports, and in life, we all know that the people that are the most successful around us are the ones that constantly invest in themselves. They're the ones that invest in themselves because they know when they invest in themselves, in their mind, in their education, those are the greatest return on investments that they get out there. This is an opportunity for you to invest in yourselves so that you and I together can profit in the stock market, not just weeks in the future, not just months in the future or years, but decades in the future. So let me just see. And you guys kick me off whenever. Let me just see if there's any other questions that are really important, but feel free to kick me off whenever you guys want. I know it's 3 o'clock. Yes, this is lifetime. This is a lifetime access. This is not a subscription. You'll never get upsold on anything. Yeah, so it's about 30 to 40 of these setups, and you get notifications on the majority of them. A lot of them are again, as simple as the weekly and the quarterly setups, again, with the potential to make even more money. Yeah, so the next webinar training is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's not like this, but we get on the call and everyone asks away. If they have any questions, sometimes I get in their account and figure out how to make adjustments, but we don't log off the webinars until everyone's questions are answered. Let me see. Yeah, so that 30-day money-back guarantee is, again, all I ask is that you try 5 of those setups, and you already learned 2 of them. You just try 5 of those setups. And if those setups don't work for you, okay, if you don't make money from them, just email me, email my support team, and show us that they didn't work for you. And in the first 30 days, we will give you your money back, no questions asked. And on top of that, if you do qualify, we will also give you $250 cash on top of that. Cool. Will there be a replay? You'd have to ask the moderators. I don't know what they're planning on doing, but you'd have to ask the moderators if there's going to be a replay. Cool. Yeah, so every single profit crushing setup, we have a version of it for every type of account. So if you have an IRA, there is a version for everything we're doing for an IRA. If you have a margin account, okay, there's a version for everything we're doing the margin account. Small accounts, big accounts, all that stuff. Totally. All right, that looks like those are it for the questions. I'll hang around until they throw me off here, but that looks like I answered most of everyone's questions. And for those of you who are coming on board, I'll see everyone on the webinar tonight.